And now, I talk back with Ray
I'm telling you, I couldn't make it up if I tried.
and Mandii.
You've got to be freaking kidding me. You know what? That's all I'm saying.
Do you believe in time travel?
I feel like I'm indifferent because I don't know. I feel like it might be a thing. I don't know. I feel like there are old souls. I feel like there's some people that are like have been reincarnated because there's stuff that they know that's really hard to believe that they picked up, and especially things that they know that are going to happen. Like it's really hard to believe that they are that aware of the surrounding environment that they just predict the future. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like they're
like the little kids will be like, "Well, I remember I was in your tummy, or I used to be your daddy, or shit like that." And they're like,
"You should be your daddy."
Like, I was watching some show about that, and this little girl was like, "Oh, I remember when I was with Jesus." It's like, I don't. If my child, Amanda, if my child came to me and was like, I remember when, like, oh, girl, I couldn't handle that.
Yeah, but I do, because it's like, what do you think, like, about the soul? You know what I mean? Like, how is our soul in our body, and our soul's in our body, and then we pass away, and what happens to it? It just goes. It just like dissolves.
It goes somewhere. I don't think it dissolves. I think it definitely goes like to the resting place or to like the mid thing. Like it doesn't go because have you ever seen somebody's soul leave their body? So I saw my granny's soul leave her body when she passed.
How does that look?
It looks like a bright light. It's literally like because like how like your soul is why you look the way you look like Amanda. You know what I'm saying? But like, and my granny looked like my granny. When her soul left, her face changed. It was immediate.
Huh.
She did not look like herself anymore. And you saw this little light go out the window. It went out the window. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they look different. Like, have you ever seen anybody dead? They don't look like themselves.
No. Yeah, for sure.
They don't. And like, and I think because we were there when she passed, and it was so like beautiful in a weird way, you know what I mean? Like it was such a beautiful like time that, and my granny passed as she passed like she lived, very peaceful, very like no fuss, no muss.
Yeah.
And to be there, we worked together when she passed away.
Oh, really?
Yes, I worked with Butin. Because remember, like they used to fax. Cause I remember one time you gave it to me. But they used to Dr. Costanzi's office. His uncle used to fax the blood work order to the office, and then sometimes you would get it, or I would get it. Or I'd be looking for it, and then I would take the blood work, the order, and I would go to the house and drop her blood and drive it the same day it was downtown. I would do her urine sample and drive it. And so I was on my way to work, and then Mom was like, "Can you come by the house first?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I had been there that night before. Well, she hadn't spoken since then. And so so we were in the room, and I remember I called Dr. Butin, and I was like, "I'm not going to come in today. My granny's transitioning." He was like, "Okay." Yeah. And then I was at the house, and my blue stethoscope, what I always use a Travis OB.
Yeah.
Was the one I heard her heartbeat the last time, and I haven't listened to it. I've never used it since. And I still have it.
I was going to ask you, do you still have it?
Yeah, I still have it. It's packed away. But like we saw, because Mom was in the room with her, and Mom read Psalms 23. Mom was playing like her favorite. She liked Canton spirituals, like she liked Mel chorus. She was playing that, and Mom was literally told her it was okay to go. Like we're gonna be fine. It was okay to leave. And I was standing like in the hallway by the kitchen, and the room was dark, right? And so the room lit up. And it was like this light went to the window, and it was gone. Wow. And then I went back in there, and then Mom came out and was like, "She's gone." And then I went back in there, and then you couldn't hear her heartbeat anymore. I'm telling you, I like when you see that, it's such a peaceful thing. Like she just took her last breath, and that was it. And like her soul, like you said, there's a little light, and it leaves. And then we looked at her, and she did not look the same.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of these things where like you'll see like movies or you hear stories and things like that, and you hear stuff like that. Like when people pass away, you see like a light,
Yep.
like you just said, like a little ball of
And
light.
they face the east. That's a real thing. That is a real, I saw it.
East.
They face east.
That is crazy.
They face east,
Yeah.
and then like they kind of, and as they're detaching themselves, because Granny was in hospice, so as they detach themselves, they just like don't really talk to you. Like it's I'm like, because the way the hospice nurse was explaining it was like, girl, it was like textbook. She's like she's going to face me. She's not going to talk to you anymore. She can hear you, but she's not going to talk to you anymore. And Granny moaned a little bit because she was on morphine, but she didn't want any more medicine like the night before. And I remember she would not look at me. I went there the night before. Somebody told me to go by there. I always went by there every day, and someone just told me to go by. But when I left, I think I was already at home, and I left and went to go see her. And then when I left to see her, I walked in the door, and Mom was like, she's not really talking. But when I went in, I was like, Granny, and she was just moaning, like she was in pain, but kind of moaning, and not loud, but just kind of moaning. And then I was rubbing on her shoulder, and she was facing east already. And then I told her, and I said, well, Granny, I love you. And I said, and she was like, and then she didn't say anything. And I was like, you know how much I love you? More than you will ever know. And she said, is that right? That's all she said. She said, is that right? That's what Granny always said.
Yeah.
She said, that's the last thing she said to me was, is that right? And I was like, I
Oh
love
my
you more
God.
than you ever know. And then Mom said after that, she didn't talk anymore.
Wow.
And she passed more that next day.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember that you were going through that, because I remember you were missing work because you were going through that with your family. Yeah.
I stayed with her because after Mom left the room, Big Terrence came up with the boys, and then like after the funeral home came to collect her body, Big Terrence came over, and then but I stayed in the room with her body until the funeral home came to collect her, because they didn't have to call a police, because some of them had to call the sheriff's department to kind of confirm that she passed away, but they didn't do any of that. They just said that's fine, they can go ahead and send the funeral home out. And so the funeral guy came, and the hospice nurse came, but that was it. She stayed there for a little bit, and then because she would not turn over, I remember she didn't turn over, so we had to like turn over. That was like a little weird, but to turn over, and she would not close her eyes. Her eyes would not close.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, her eyes were still open.
And was that just like a body reaction? Like a body reaction? Yeah.
Well, we tried to close them, and then they kept opening.
Yeah.
But she just looked so different. She didn't like Granny.
Yeah.
And it was like immediate. It was so weird. Like as soon as her soul left her body, she looked different.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I think death is really hard for people to talk about. It's a hard conversation to have for some people because they don't want to think about it. But it's one of the things that's kind of inevitable. Was that the first time you ever dealt with somebody so close to you passing?
No. Well, somebody that I was that close to. So my Aunt Jo, I remember her passing when I was younger. But like Granny was the first person that, and this is sad to say, but like that meant something to me, like personally, like I was super, super duper close to that person.
I was gonna say that you were close to.
That like was there when she transitioned. Like then like my Uncle Benjamin passed away in November, and so I was there. I was there when he passed away as well. I was at the hospital, and so and I left work, came and because they had made the decision that they were going to take him off of the ventilator, and so the next day, so I left work again, and then came back the next day, and I was there when he passed away too. So they took him off the ventilator, and he breathed for maybe 20 minutes, and then he transitioned, and that was really beautiful because we were at Seton, but it was just different because, and they came in like the nurse, the transitioners, I don't know. Yeah. She came in and they do that, like commanding your soul prayer. And so that's obviously different because you're at a Catholic hospital, right? So that was different. Right. But so it wasn't like the preacher like that because he wasn't Catholic, but they did have like the nurse come in and do like commanding your soul prayer, like to to let you be free, I guess. And then And we were all there. Like we were all there when he passed away. So his daughter was there, her
Mm-hmm.
husband, his grandchildren, my cousins, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I think it's, I mean, it's really nice when you can be around family when they're transitioning because they
Yeah.
know that you're there. And so they
Yeah.
know that they're not alone and they know that, and especially when you tell them like, it's okay. Like, I know you're tired. It's
Yeah.
okay if you want to just rest,
Yeah. And it was so,
Um,
so my Uncle Benjamin
yeah.
was crazy. Uncle Benjamin was, he called me cool, right? He was crazy. And everybody, like, only like 2 people knew that he was sick,
Mm,
that he didn't tell anybody else. But what was
yeah.
so weird was like that week before he was at the hospital and he called me at 5 a.m, girl. And normally I would look at the phone like, what is he calling me for? But
Hmm.
I answered the phone. Thank
And you
God.
normally wouldn't.
I normally wouldn't have because it was like
Hmm.
5 a.m. It's Uncle Benjamin.
Yeah.
He's crazy, Cool Ray, like early in the morning. Like I'm like, hey, Uncle Benjamin, like what's going on?
Uh-huh.
You nut girl, what you doing? And he's talking about he wanted some biscuits and gravy. And I'm thinking, well, just asking her.
5 in the morning.
Asking her, you need me to bring it to you? Like I don't know what's
Hmm.
happening right now. It is so like because him and my dad used to always fight over me because they
Hmm.
lived together. And so when I would bring food, they didn't want to get Uncle Benjamin. He was just so stingy. Like and then Uncle Benjamin would call me, and I used to laugh at him all the time. But like he always
Hmm.
called me. And so then that next week was when he had collapsed and went into a coma, and my daddy
Yeah.
found him. And like he didn't talk, anymore. And so I was
Yeah.
just so glad that that I answered the phone, and talked to
Hmm.
him the week before. So I was really happy
Yes.
about that. But yeah.
Yeah. It's
And I
crazy how stuff like that happens.
dream about him like that when after that happened. I don't ever really dream like that. But
Yeah.
girl, I had this dream. I had to call my mama. I was like, girl, because he had called me on the phone. And I
Hmm.
and in the dream I knew he was dead. And I was like, hello. And he was like, cool, Ray, what you doing? I said, you dead. What you doing calling me?
Like, how the heck you calling me?
And,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
and it was such a lucid dream, and he was laughing,
Hmm.
and I was like, but why are you calling and you're dead? Like, is it like
Yeah.
the phone? And I woke up like,
Yeah. Like it felt real.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it didn't
Hmm.
scare me. It was just like he just wanted to
Yeah.
talk to me again. Like it was
Yeah.
so fun. He was my favorite Uncle Benjamin. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
was
I
like,
feel like, yeah, that happened to me. So like after my dad passed away.
uh-huh.
So I just remember getting a call like at 10 o'clock. My Uncle Frankie told me that my dad had collapsed. Like he was passed out. And so
Mm-hmm.
he had the ambulance on their way to like try to revive him.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was so big and he already had like an enlarged heart. He had
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, like
Mm-hmm.
edema, like he had so many things going on with him. And he had been in and out of St. David's for, heart problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had collapsed. So my uncle told me, hurry up and get here. He's like, do you have his medication list? Because I know they're going to want that. And so I like my dad gave me an orange folder with all his stuff in there just in case, because, he had
Yeah.
been in and out for so long to the
Yeah.
hospital. So I told my Uncle Frankie, I jumped out of bed. I was driving so quick. I lived in Kyle at the time, and they lived in Mustang Ridge or Dale, which is like
Oh, wow.
maybe about 20 minutes from where Kyle was. So it was like
Okay.
straight up 21. I
Mhm.
rushed there. When I was on the way there, my Uncle Frankie called me and said that he didn't make it.
Mm.
And so I got there already. They had him in the back of the ambulance and he was just laying there. So
Mhm.
just being there with him. And like you said, I was by his body until the funeral home came to pick him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But just seeing him there in that state where he's
Mhm.
just laying there,
Mhm.
not breathing, it was just so different to
It's
look
really
at him because
surreal.
he looked, yes.
They
And he
look
looked
different.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
And he
just look
looked
their
different.
face. They're
Hmm.
like their
Yes.
face just looks different. Yeah.
Yes, and it really did. And that's why when you said that, I was like, that's exactly what happened with my dad.
Mhm.
His face looked
Mhm.
completely different, like it
Yeah.
wasn't him. And then when they did all the embalming and we were able to do the viewing with him,
Mhm.
he did not look the
They
same.
don't look the same. That's what I'm saying. It's
Hmm.
like that's why I don't necessarily like to look at people after they pass because
Yeah,
they just don't look like themselves
it's not the
anymore.
person you
It's
knew.
not the person.
Hmm.
It's just a shell, But
Yeah.
I feel like the soul is really what makes us who we are. And I feel like once
Hmm.
our soul leaves, like we're really no longer there.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want nobody looking at me. Like I want
Yeah.
a closed casket.
So I don't want nobody looking at me.
I don't. I think it's weird. And I'm like, why did you want to look at me? You didn't even talk to me while I was here. Like, why did you want to look at me? I'm dead. Like, I have a whole list. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, if they ain't on the list, they can't look at me.
Dude, they got a bouncer at your freaking funeral coming. You on the list? Check.
Girl, look, everybody know, turn them motherfuckers around in the parking lot. They can't even park to come see me.
You have what are those things called? The little things they put in front that you can't get behind. They had to move them. What they called? You know what I'm talking about? You got to freaking let them in. Yeah.
They have to go to this line, right? You're not on the list.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Girl, that's what I'm talking about. We need to have like the men in black at the front, the bouncers.
Literally.
Are you on the list? Or Sean got a list.
I feel like this. I feel like my funeral is not going to be the time for you to come and make amends with me because I'm not here yet.
Right.
So the funeral really is to help other people feel better because you're not there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
So if you didn't make amends with me while I was here, we can have a conversation.
Then why does it matter now?
The funeral is not the time
exactly.
to try to. I ain't even there. You know what
Getting
I mean?
good with the family. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, because I'm gonna have a whole attitude. You know what I mean? Like I may come and hunt you if you try to cut in my food.
Right? You hear that movement you hear in your house? That's me.
You see what I'm saying? Boo, like boo is you.
Knocking shit over, boom. You know.
Why hit you upside the head? Something like, come on. Like you didn't even talk to me before. Get away from me.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Yes.
Yes.
But it's hard. And I think it was, so before my dad passed away, I had a fear of death. I think we've talked about this before. I was scared of dying, and I've always had the fear of death ever since I was little. I remember, I'm not even kidding you, when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I remember laying in bed thinking, one day none of this is going to be here. One day I'm going to die. I have no control over it. And like psyching myself out where I couldn't fall asleep because I was just like, yes, I would like just like have this whole thing on me. Like, oh my God, I can't believe one day I'm going to die. I'm not going to have this. Like, what's going to happen? Like, where am I going to go? What's going to happen? But now, after my dad passed away, which was in 2017, I feel like I'm not scared anymore because I'm like, I want to go wherever he's at. Or even like losing Embry. Like even losing Embry, I'm like, I want to go where she's at. So I'm fine. Like if it's my time, I'm ready because I'm going to go wherever they are. Yeah. So that's how it was for me to be comfortable with death.
That's interesting. I never really thought about it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I've never really been afraid of death per se. It's almost like, well, I don't know. I just never really been afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know. I've just never I think it'd be sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You're like one day.
I think people will miss me. You know what I'm saying? But like other than that, it's like because it's true. Like after a while, life goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then one day, if it goes how it goes, like we'll all be a memory. And some people will remember us and some people won't. Yeah. And I don't really like to hold on to a lot of stuff. So I always, everything that I do, I think about when I die, I don't want nobody to have to go through this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to be a burden. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I didn't be afraid of death per se. It's just more like, I don't know. I've never been afraid of it.
I'm like, so do we really want to live forever? Like, do you really want to keep going through the same shit over and over again? You see how this world is, right?
I want to live to 100. That's the craziest shit ever to me.
Yeah.
I don't even want to see Lord.
Where you could barely move. Like some people could barely move.
Like they're shaking and can't. No.
Yeah.
If I can't be me, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, or if somebody else has to take care of you. Yeah. Like if you need a full-time caregiver.
Yeah.
Like you can't even wipe yourself.
Like, I don't even know this person.
Yeah.
I got boys. I can't trust them to take care of me. Lord Jesus, let me be They will have me super quick.
You have all kind of rashes.
All kind. Sure ain't gonna do nothing. Well, I don't even know how Tyson would feel. I think Terrence would be the first person. Like, it was so funny. Like, I was watching this meme, and it said, if you have, You have the child that will drop you off at the nursing home. The child will take care of you. The child will pay for somebody to take care of you. And it said, it said, and you know exactly which child is what. And I said, you sure right. Because I know tends to be the first one to drop me off somewhere. Tends to be the first one. Tyson gonna pay somebody to take care of me. And Terrell will be the one to take care of me. I already know.
There you go.
Terrell will be the one because Terrell will be like, he will kill somebody behind me. So he would be the one to take care of me. Tyson would be like, well, send me the bill. You know. Because I ain't gonna do all that. You know?
Yeah.
And Terrence would be like, can y'all put her stuff in the truck so I can take her? I know my kids. Like, I know who gonna do what. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sick of them and they sick of me. We sick of each other.
But then y'all still be around each other. It's all good.
Yeah, they come and hang out with me sometimes. Terrence came over to help me move those pallets in the back of the garage. He helped me. He helped me move those. So, well, he didn't help me move it. He moved it himself. But he put them in the back of his truck because I was worried about like snakes or something getting in there. And I gotta go back there and take the trash out. And I was like, somebody needs to move these because I'm scared something going to jump out at me. And I'm doing this, like looking, trying to run and put the trash in the trash. Yeah. This is too stressful. As a son, can you please come help your mama and get these things? Yeah.
Oh, they're so nice.
We'll see. When they
No, Taviana gonna be the one taking care of me, even though I don't want to put that on her. But I know she'll
do it.
She will, because she loves her mama.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna take care of me. I mean, Terrell might. I don't know. Even him, he been on wheel me to the lake with him. I just be sitting there while he's fishing or something.
That's right, and you be over there getting hot.
Exactly. You don't get hot easy.
Yeah, you're like,
I
need to be in a tent with some air in there.
Yeah. You tripping.
You need to put me in a clear tent with some air, with an AC unit.
You already know.
A swamp cooler in a clear tent.
With a generator so it don't run out. But solar power.
That's right. And you better tell them ahead of time while you still can talk shit.
My wishes. If you take
that's right.
Wishes,
you got to give them. Yep, that's right. You got to give them solutions for give them scenarios for every possibility.
Always, they can't come up with nothing on their own.
No, that's why I said.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into I Talk Back with Rae and Mandii. Please hit the like and subscribe button to stay updated on future podcasts.